Hey everyone, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I hope you are enjoying this new year. We've got some new energy in the world and it's starting to feel really good. So today, what are we talking about? Affirmations. And that's important that we affirm our life, speaking good and greatness into our lives. It's something that we do lip service to, not unlike self-compassion and self-care. But it's important that every day we put this power, the power that comes from the universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, that spirit that's in the universe, to help propel us into feeling good, powerful, and ready to take on today. So today I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Bronwyn Morgan, and she is the owner of Bliss in Me Meditation. And Bronwyn and I have met over Instagram, where I've met a ton of great people and healers. I started following her. I don't know, she might have come through a hashtag or someone else. I have no idea, but I'm just so happy that I have her, because honestly, she speaks life into me every day and she does not even know that. Um, After I get up, after my morning prayers, and saying, thank you, Jesus, for being awake and alive and protecting and taking care of me and my family, I usually have Bronwyn's, one of her many, 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 many affirmations on the top of my timeline. And I tell you, it just speaks life into me and I feel really good. And with that, I'd like to say, Bronwyn, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Brittany. I mean, what a wonderful way to meet someone out
Mhm.
on in the cybersphere and actually get a chance to meet and get to talk about a subject that's near and dear to me. And I'm so glad that you've been invigorated or inspired by some of the posts on Bliss and Me. So thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. I agree. It's been really cool to meet and start to talk to other like-minded folks and spirits. And given this time of, the pandemic, it's even more important that we connect. And I'm so happy about that. But with that, let's just do a little, internet plug and tell folks where they can find you and your socials.
Absolutely. So I am Twitter at Bliss of Me Meditation, on Instagram. I have to always cheat because I have them slightly different. On Twitter, it's at Bliss and Me, BLISSINME. And then on Instagram, it's Bliss in Me Meditation. And our website is blissandme.com.
Perfect. And what services do you provide?
So I am a meditation coach. I teach mostly mindfulness. I do group classes, private classes, and at one point in life, live classes, in person that is. But now everything's virtual. And I'm also a Reiki practitioner, so able to conduct even distance Reiki for those who need it. If obviously we can't meet in person right now.
Okay. Wow. You are a busy lady.
Absolutely.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, then. So let's just settle into this moment. And I just wanted to start off by asking you, how did you come to this life? How did mindfulness and also meditation and, the offshoot affirmation come into your life? Excuse me.
Well, this is an interesting story, and I don't know that I've actually ever told it. But as a child, I remember, I don't know if I think it was a vision. I might have been 8 or 9. And I'll never forget, it may have been a dream, I'm not sure, that there was a message that was left with me. And it said, one day, in your life, you're going to be talking to a large group of people, and everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say.
Hmm.
And I didn't know what that meant. And over the years, I've held lots of different roles. And I have had a chance to speak to a lot of people on a variety of different things, and I still do today. But when it comes to meditation, I had an amazing experience on a beach in Northern California in 1994, July, matter of fact, that changed my
Hmm.
life. it truly was, I guess I could characterize it as Neil Donald Walsh did, a conversation with God. And excuse me, it was mind blowing, um, spiritually invigorating, unbelievable, for all intents and purposes. And the message that I got from that was that I've got a lot that I want you to do. And the only thing that I want you to do is believe. And so, and it's a very detailed story that I won't take you through here, but it now has been confirmed more than once, throughout my life. And I've had a lot of confirmation in the physical world, um, that completely supports what I've heard. And so every day I just kind of walk into this truth and this experience. And I started Bliss in Me, oof, I think officially maybe 2006, 2007, something like that. And I recognize that this was about, or this journey was helping others as well as myself finding the bliss within, because all the answers, all the peace, everything is within us. And here I am in 2021, um, being able to talk about it and teach people and engage with them. And really, it's not so much about teaching, but it really is helping open their minds and their practice so that they can be able to understand the truth within.
That is an amazing story. I'm sitting here just nodding my head going, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah, similar. I had many experiences as a child as well. Lots of folks in my family from the other side, lots of visions. For me, a lot of deja vu of like, this just
Hmm.
what? Just knowing that things were going to happen, very strong intuition. But unlike you, I didn't listen. But I would run up against it again and again, but I was afraid to take that leap because of my own, family of origin, personal traumas, just, the things that you think about yourself. I always say I'm the budget Iyanla Van Sant in the same ways, which she had very similar experiences. And she was told that you talk too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're making up stories.
Mm-hmm.
Being a precocious child and, a fairly smart adult, it was use your logic, use that, use your intellect. And that's what I was lauded for. And I was praised for, but not the other stuff because it scared everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I would speak truth to power with people in my life, again, they were afraid. So it's interesting that, again, at this point in my life, I'm, my third act. I'm in my 50s. I finally come to it and I'm sitting in it and I feel really comfortable with it and being able to speak to people. I, again, like you, um, been tapped on the shoulder to speak to an audience. We all have very similar experiences, but it just manifests in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the positives of this time is that a lot of folks have said this, it's time to go inward,
Yeah.
to think about what you want, what you don't want. And I've learned, and what I teach here is the restorative power of surrender. If things are falling, let them fall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If things are being rejected, let it go
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
because you just don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think mindfulness, surrender, and what we're talking about today, affirmation, really is the icing on the cake to keep you in this place and keeps you sealed in it and keeps you focused on your power, and it gives you the strength to move forward in your
Absolutely.
in your path.
Absolutely.
So we are going to get off and go to a little break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the history of affirmations and where it comes from, at least to my knowledge, from New Thought churches, Bible verses, and even within the Buddhist tradition. And today, my guest is Bronwyn Morgan, and she is the owner of Bliss in Me Meditation. And we're talking about affirmations and how they speak power into your life. And later on, we're going to talk about how to make them for ourselves. Stay tuned, and I'll see you after the break. This is Brittany Miles, a Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is Brittany Miles, host of Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. And we're talking about affirmations today. I have a guest. Her name is Bronwyn Morgan. She owns Bliss in Me Meditation. And I found Bronwyn on Instagram, as I find everyone that's a like minded soul and spirit. And she has a feed which is an incredible resource for affirmation so that you can find inspiration throughout your day. I usually see whatever she's posted early in the morning, then I can look at it after my morning prayers for gratitude, and it just boosts me up. It's my little booster. It keeps me going. We were in during the break talking about how internet is questionable at times, but I think what Bronwyn gives me is the surge that I need. So I don't need you, Comcast. No, not really. So Bronwyn, again, welcome to the show. Tell folks how they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Bliss in Me Meditation, on Twitter at Bliss in Me, and also online at blissinme.com. And it's BLISSINME.
And she has killer merch, so I say look at that because we're having a hoodie moment. So she
Yes,
has,
aren't we?
aren't we, for a while. So she has some really cool, soft, wonderful loungewear and yoga wear. So with that, again, we're talking about affirmation. So what I'd like to kind of jump into is the history of affirmations. Now, I have been studying New Thought, church beliefs in the Church of Religion Science, the Unity Church since the late 90s. I found it through Ian Van Sant, and it was really powerful for me. And I know within those churches, they have practitioners who create treatments, which are affirmations that will treat physical illness, they will treat emotional illness, they will speak abundance and prosperity into your life. And within it, um, you can create that affirmation. And I mean, I'm going to stop there. Bronwyn, is that something that you're familiar with as well?
Yes. The idea of affirming
Mhm.
um, a wish is very consistent with spiritual practice,
Mhm.
and it is consistent throughout pretty much every religion as well as a non-religious philosophy, at least that I've found. And like you, I've spent some time with the Unity Church, New
Mhm.
Thought as well, and Iyanla Van Sant
Mhm.
as a friend.
Mhm.
And we'll find that these very simple words that are usually very short help us really speak to ourselves,
Mhm.
that with which we wish to manifest. And
Mhm.
so it is more of a statement of what is based on fixing our mind so that we're consistent and in unity, with that idea,
Mhm.
versus, the begging or the pleases. This is, it's a part of your I amness and the idea of
Mhm.
I am. Being this creative energy that speaks to the divine nature of our true nature, who we really are. And so being able to put that into practice to speak to mind, body, and soul, you're spot on with that.
Mhm. Thank you. And I love what you're saying is that it's the affirmation of the I amness. And as a Christian, a Catholic, I mean, I will use Bible verses at times when I can't grasp onto anything else. And one of my favorites is be still and know I am God. And
Mhm.
I get chills when I hear that because I am then, I've got that connection back to the great I am. I'm back with Yahweh. And it brings me right back to that present moment because I know everything is okay because I am cared for by someone. I know that there's a benevolent force, whatever you wish to call it, identify it as, leave it to you. But for me, it's knowing that God is taking care of me
Mhm.
and God is blessing me. And this is why I love Bible verses. Like, I'm sure you went to vacation Bible school, maybe, maybe not.
I did. I did
And you had to have your Bible verse ready every day, and you
all the time.
couldn't use Jesus wept.
That's right. That kind of wore out after first grade.
That's right, Jesus wept. You had to like dig deep
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
show that you had some biblical literacy, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And using those is just wonderful. And I mean, what is it? The 23rd Psalm. I'll go back. I'll read the Psalms as well.
Mhm, mhm.
When I was going through my divorce, I read the Psalms every day,
Yeah.
and it's so comforting. I think of it as a balm, right?
Mhm,
That surrounds you, like you're in this
mhm,
nice warm place, like a baby in bunting, where
mhm,
you can go back to that place and
mhm,
feel that centeredness and feel that love.
mhm,
And I've also found it through people like Catherine Ponder
mhm.
or Florence Scovel Shin. And
Yeah.
for folks in the audience, again, these are all New Thought teachers and practitioners. I love Florence Scovel Shin. Her book, it's a really thin volume, but it's like How to Play the Game of Life and Win. And
Yes.
you can get it anywhere, Amazon, Kindle, Nook, Barnes and Noble. And it is the best investment that you will make because it teaches you how to reprogram your mind. And by reprogramming your mind with these words, things change. So what you think in your mind, you outpicture in your reality. So I'm working on in a class with Ianla as we speak for her 40-day abundance class that she's doing. And those were some words that she spoke last night, is that whatever's in your mind, you're going to outpicture in your reality,
Mhm.
which is true. I mean, it's like technology, garbage in, garbage out.
It's very true.
So if you have the ability to fix your mind on what it is that you want, that I amness, then you're going to start to see the world in a different place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wherever the mind goes, the body follows.
Hmm. And I mean,
And I
go
think
ahead.
now, especially with social media and what's on television, people, we're all in so many different places, angst, anxiety, anger, fear. And these are some very serious things going on right now. But just notice how that, whatever's coming in is manifesting inside of us. And then that creates physical problems, health problems. But yeah, you're spot on.
Hmm. I agree. I think you hit on a really big point of social media. I think that's where people focus a lot of their time because in the past it was escapism. And even then it was very questionable. It's like you only see the good parts, like anything else in all media. You only see the good. Nobody really wants to see the not so good or even reality, right? Because it's
Right.
escape mechanism. And now there is just so much that's out there, especially with the pandemic and our elections and all of that, which has fundamentally changed our way of life
Mm-hmm.
because it has run unchecked because it's, created by the people for the people.
Right.
But is it really good for people? And a lot of folks, I think like ourselves and others say, do a 30-day social media fast because
Right.
it's helpful for you to get a new picture so you
Yes.
could outpicture something that's your reality,
Mm-hmm.
because there are times when you're anxious and scared and alone or just deep in fear and you're just running to alleviate that fear, right,
True.
with social media or and everything else that you might have at your disposal.
Right.
It's going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's it's really going to just continue to make you feel worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's I think it's important for folks to look at that and try to find things, if you're going to stay on social media, that are affirming,
I
right?
agree.
I
I
mean,
100% agree.
do you find with the folks that follow you, are they looking for what you're providing? Do you get a lot of positive feedback about that?
Yes, I mean, I've got my consistent followers, people
Mm,
who pretty much like every post, comment,
mhm,
who I've who I DM with. Some people have turned into students of classes, but there's always the consistent core that is there. And there's all this, the algorithms with social media that make your reach so unknown.
Mhm,
But I do find that and for me, it's not necessarily just about how many people and am I an influencer. If I touch the hearts, or these messages touch the hearts of 20 people, 200 2 people, then
mhm.
that's good. The rest of it will take care of itself. It's not just about the idea of monetizing this is really about, and it's helpful for me. This is really about sharing something, because I have to do the work to do all my little color coding. I try to make it interesting, and different quotes, excuse me, different teachings, videos, just things that keep people engaged but interested, but things that I think, it's not about what I think, it's really about what I'm feeling in that moment, what is coming through me that needs
Mm.
to be shared. And I share obviously a lot of quotes from a lot of master teachers, some everyday people, and a lot of it's mine, and the imagery that goes along with it.
I think that's wonderful. And I was going to ask, how does this impact you as an individual? You know, I get it's a calling for you. It's part of your purpose and your work. And it sounds like it is feeding you in the way that you need to be fed. And I think that's really cool that you're able to share this message with people and get it out there. And I'm happy to be able to support you in getting that message out there. And with that, we're going to be taking a break. And I'm here with Bronwyn Morgan, the owner of Bliss in Me Meditation. And we're talking about affirmation and speaking truth to power with words so that you can picture the world in the way that you need to picture it. And when we come back, we're going to talk about affirmations versus the power of, positive thinking. Are they the same? Are they different? We'll find out. So you're here with me, Brittany Miles, the host of Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. And stay tuned. See you after the break. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're here with me, Brittany Miles, host of Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. We're talking about affirmations today. It's the beginning of a new year. I don't believe in new year, new me, but I do believe in affirming the power of your life and giving your spirit joy. And today we're talking about how to do that. How do we create affirmations? Where do they come from? And how to build one for yourself. And today we have a guest. Her name is Bronwyn Morgan. She's the owner of Bliss in Me Meditation, and we met on Instagram. And girl, she is straight fire, as the kids will say, period. And as my 13-year-old says,
I like that.
period. And as I said, she's the owner of Bliss in Me Meditation. I got a little bit ahead of myself with that little vibe. So, Bronwyn, tell folks where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram at Bliss in Me Meditation, on Twitter at Bliss in Me, and then online at blissinme.com, and that's BLISSINME.com.
Great. And she also has killer merch. We are all having that hoodie moment, little yoga pant moment. So while you are working at home, you can just have some cozy stuff to wear. All right. So, where we last left off, we were talking about affirmations versus the power of positive thinking. Now, I don't think there's necessarily a true difference. I mean, if one, as an intellectual, I'm a recovering intellectual, different sides of the same coin. Bronwyn, you're
Mhm.
laughing. Yes. I mean, for folks who really buy into it, it doesn't matter. For folks that are still sort of, well, isn't this just positive thinking? And is that, how's that going to change my life? Well, let's
Mhm.
talk about that. I too had that belief. And trying to think of who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, that classic book. It will come to me later.
Yeah.
Um, I should have written it down. But that's something that's in our culture. I know in sales, they have always used that. Like Brian Tracy talks about that in his work. about staying positive. So you can, you're going to get to that yes, you're going to have X amount of no's until you get to that yes. You have to stay positive and then continue to sell. And for some folks, that kind of gets a bad, rap. Also, people believe that it's like, it's a it's raining, but I'm going to just have a smile and pretend that nothing around me is really happening. And that's not true. I think truly it's this: affirmations, speaking positive words, strength, power into your life, into your spirit, is the action. That's something that we can do every day, right? Every moment. We always have that ability to affirm what is and affirm that we are safe, secure, and we have our own power. Positive thinking, to me, is a mindset, mind frame, where you are open to these positive thoughts. There are times when you can still have that affirmation and say, I am, and walk, as we've been talking about, in that I amness, but don't believe a word. You know. So Bronwyn, your head nodding. I mean, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting topic, and I think it might have been Norman Vincent Peale who wrote the book.
Yes,
Maybe it might have been him.
it was.
It was okay, and you're right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with positive thinking. It's a beautiful thing. Versus a negative thinker, it's all
Mhm.
doom and gloom. But there is a difference. One, sometimes people like to pretend that what isn't happening, to your point, isn't. That is happening isn't happening, and that sets you up often for a very big uh, disappointment.
Mhm.
And the way that I've been taught, and the way that I now appreciate, is there's this idea of acceptance. I have to
Mm.
accept that a thing is,
Like your
before it can
friends,
be transformed.
right? Sorry to step on you. Like your friend Ianla says, let's call a thing a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be able to see it for what it is, because you can't transform or transcend anything unless you first acknowledge it. If not, what is, it's the idea of faking it till you make it is, I think, a bit misguided. You don't need to fake anything. You have the ability to pursue whatever it is you like to pursue, but understanding that there will be good days, there'll be bad days, there'll be failures, there'll be a lot successes, but being able to learn from that and developing the mental and spiritual fortitude, because it's the difficult times that make us. It's just like coal. It becomes a diamond through the roughness, and it's got to be prepared through a harsh and heavy energy being applied to it. And the same thing is true for us. Mastery comes from mastering a thing. And so in the affirmation process, you get up, and like this morning, I do one of my favorites. It's so simple: is everything I touch turns to gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say it, it's just a part of the moment. And I do find that a lot of things in my day go a lot more smoothly. Does that mean that there aren't things that fall apart? Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to accept that and not fall apart myself, oh gosh, this happened. Um, but then being positive about life, and having a happy countenance and a blissful energy is a beautiful thing. And you
Mm.
will find that as you have your way with, like, okay, this is okay. One thing what I tell myself, and I tell a lot of my classes, like, okay, this is okay. I'm all right now, because I'm in the present moment. I'm okay. And then we're going to work through this. But I'll admit, I'm not feeling great right now. I have a headache or a tummy ache, or this didn't happen. I'm able to be in the physical plane, but also operate in my spiritual plane, which flies above it, but
Mm.
appreciate the duality.
I mean, you said, ooh, chills. I just love what you said. And let me just get to it. I think the thing that I got was the acknowledgement,
Yeah.
right? Like I was saying, like Yanla says, let's call a thing,
Yeah.
right? Because if you don't acknowledge, you know, the elephant that's in the room, everybody's gonna be like, but that thing over there. Oh, okay. Right. And most of us, I would say, have that in our lives where we do ignore the thing and just keep
Mhm.
moving, because if we actually dealt with the thing, we feel that our lives would be undone. Excuse me. And that's the fear. And that's how, I got here into this role where in 2016 my life fell apart, couldn't find a job, had to let my house go into foreclosure, was super scared of what my future would be and what I looked like in the world. And how I was out picturing was this fear of everything in the world. And that's how I got to what I call this accidental Buddhism, where I was forced by the universe to acknowledge the fact that, guess what? Your life is a dumpster fire. Everything around you, I also call it the tower moment, where if you're familiar with the tarot, it's a tower that's burning and people are jumping out to save their lives. And that was
Mhm.
my life, because I was afraid to call a thing a thing. And I felt as if, well, I can keep running. And the universe is like, no, no, no.
Right.
You need to slow down. And guess what? We're going to slow you down. Right.
Absolutely.
And I put out the fire, and then I started to build that well of, I guess, heat inside of me to become who I am right now and become open and vulnerable and able to call a thing and able to see where I am and to affirm my life. And I think affirmation, along with all the other work that we do and all of whatever spiritual practice, really breaks down that outside exterior hard crust. I think about often the Buddhas that were covered with mud so that they would be hidden, so they wouldn't be, taken by looters in times of war. And what we thought we saw on the outside wasn't what was there on the inside, right? So by taking away, each layer of mud and crust, we uncover the golden Buddha within inside of us. And I think
Mhm.
affirmation helps us get there. Do I believe everything 100%? Like you were saying, it's like I can say this, like, let's say, be still and know God, but I know I'm okay, but I'm still scared,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But if I keep saying it, at some point I'm going to believe it.
Mhm.
My mind will believe it. And our minds have the ability to be retrained through
Mhm.
neuroplasticity, which we found, and that's how meditation works and other things work. And it's how affirmation works as well.
Mhm.
And the more that you say it, the more that you believe it,
Mhm. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Our Yeah, our minds are hardwired for negativity because we still have that reptilian brain because we got to survive.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And that's a lot of what our society pumps into us. It's life or death. If you don't do these things and you won't have enough of this, and the scarcity principle, and not growing up in an environment where there's a belief of prosperity and abundance, even in the most simplest of times, puts you in an extra, I think, place of jeopardy in believing that everything is of such dire consequence that
Hmm.
it's your undoing. And being able to face things as they really are, it feels overwhelming. And oftentimes it's just a thought about the thing. It's not even really the thing itself.
Exactly. It's the big lie.
Hmm. The other
It,
one.
yeah, exactly. If you repeat something often enough, people will believe it's true because that's just how we work,
Hmm.
which is sad. But we can counteract that big lie with the big truth, which is affirmation, speaking truth to power. And with that, we are headed into a break. I'm here with Bronwyn Morgan. She is the owner of Bliss and Me Meditation, and we're talking about affirmations and speaking truth to power um, in your life, into your spirit. And when we come back, we'll talk about how you actually create one. Yay! So we can figure out how to do this at home. So stay tuned. You're here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. And we'll see you soon. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yay! We're talking about affirmations here. I'm Brittany Miles on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. And my guest is Bronwyn Morgan, the owner of Bliss and Me Meditation. We met on Instagram because her feed is straight fire. If you're looking for a daily pick me up, she will make your spirit hum. She has great affirmations that honestly get me set and on my way for the day. So, Brahman, welcome back to the show. It's been lovely talking with
Yeah.
you. Tell folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Bliss in Me Meditation, and that's BLISSINME Meditation. On Twitter at Bliss in Me, and then online at blissinme.com.
Thank you. So, for this last segment, we're going to talk about creating our own affirmations. But during the break, Bronwyn and I had kind of a breakthrough, and there was something else she wanted to share about the power of affirmation.
Yeah, it's whatever you want to experience in your life, surround yourself with it.
Hmm.
Surround yourself with the people, with literature, with music, videos, movies, um, books, just anything that is consistent with it. Do you have fresh flowers to brighten up your space? What is it that you want? But surround yourself in that energy. It's very difficult to crawl out of the darkness if it's just surrounded by more darkness. So be careful. We must be mindful in what we're surrounding ourselves with, because you just start to reflect what's around you. And it's very difficult to be around a negative situation for a sustained period of time and maintain a positive mind. So that's a big part of the practice as well, Brittany.
I agree. Negative people, negative mindset, right? Your
Mm,
mother told you, I'm sure, through mother wit, is like, be careful with the people you surround yourself with, right? You become like the people, like the five people you hang around with, because
mhm,
that's the vibe, that's the
mhm.
energy, that's it. Whatever they're talking about, whatever they're doing, you're going to do. So you want to stay with the positive people, or do you want to stay with the negative people, right? The people, you want to stay with the people that are doing the things that are going to get you forward in your life, right?
Exactly.
On any level, right? You don't want to be hanging out with the people that are up to no good or
True.
just living their life in a way that is just like, really, really, man, okay, do you, but I'm going to be over here. So I agree, it's always about environment, because even if you're working with affirmations, if you don't see change, is it you or the affirmation? It's you.
That is very true. And in Buddhism, we say it's the three jewels: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the
Mm,
Sangha. And the Sangha being your community, and being able to connect to like-minded people. And it may not be every day, all day, because you've got your family may not necessarily be of the same mind, your coworkers may not be of the same mind, but still having a place to be when you need to be recharged and renewed, it is so important. But hopefully your closest circle, whether it's your friends and also hopefully most of your family, is supportive of that, because enjoy this life. This is all about awareness and enlightenment, waking up to the truth of who we are. So that's a part of this journey.
exactly. We're all walking each other home. We really are. And you're
Hmm.
right. I didn't get it until my 50s, but I'm going to enjoy my life, right?
Yes.
I always think about hearing that from Joyce Meyer. I'm enjoying my life.
Yeah.
She's like, I was miserable. And then I decided, you know what? I didn't want to be miserable anymore. And that
Absolutely.
happened for me. And I'm enjoying my life.
I like that.
I know, I know. It's like I think about it, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna care about if the carpet is vacuumed or if the counter's sticky. Like, I got more important stuff to do.
Absolutely.
And with that,
Absolutely.
we're talking about this. How do we create this new reality? So we're talking about, we got
Yeah.
to, have the right environment, to plant the right seeds, right? Sow the right reality so we can see that fruit. I've used every metaphor here. So
These are good ones.
thank you. But take us through, Bronwyn. How do we create an affirmation? How do you do it?
It really is about it starts with, in my experience, the my I amness, how I'm seeing things, and how I am, um, unifying with that. And growing up in the Christian church, as I did then, and I also spent a lot of time with Unity, which I love, out of Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
Unity, Missouri, and their booklets. And oh boy, what a present help in times of need.
Amen.
And the affirmations, and whether it's in Buddhism or even in Christianity, these affirmations that state um, clarity of experience, a clarity of my vision, what I'm seeing, a clarity of what I wish to experience, what I'm feeling, a peace, harmony, prosperity, and then my I amness associated with it. So it was always about first this I am, or how I am seeing it, but there's always the I in it. And then it's always about a comforted position of positivity associated with it, so that I'm able to state the probably in some way the challenge, but then the way that I am now going to see it moving forward. So it's taking the challenge but turning those words into the positive. So versus focusing on, I no longer want to be sick, I speak it more as I am healthy, whole, and complete.
Yes.
So I'm just taking those words and flipping them and using different descriptors and adjectives, to speak to, and verbs, how I'm feeling, how I'm seeing a thing, versus I don't have any money, I'm broke. I am so thankful for prosperity and for opportunity that is presenting itself, at this moment. And it is, so you're taking the thing, I'm acknowledging it, the coffers are empty. And I now am seeing, or speaking life into that situation. So it's about speaking life into it. I'm acknowledging that is there. I don't feel good, but I'm seeing myself, in my natural state, my true nature, which goes beyond this physical. So I'm now speaking at a spiritual level, beyond the physical.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this is about, understanding in our true nature. Our true nature is not our bodies, it's not our minds, it's not our mistakes. Our true nature is beyond all that. It's the spiritual nature of who we are, which has nothing to do with religion. It is about an energy force that we live in, that is, it never gets tired, it's never broke, it never has to worry. It is in a state of always, of peace and divine presence at any moment in time. And that's what we're connecting to.
Whew. You said a word. As I always say on your posts, you have said a word. It is the acknowledgement of what is, calling a thing, and centering in that, and then turning it around. Like I was thinking about Byron Katie in her work, and it's the turnaround and saying, yes, I acknowledge that coffers are empty, but I am ever presently supported by a universe that is unlimited and fully abundant. A-
Absolutely.
And saying that over and over again until you believe it. And if you have to, put it on a post it. I have index cards that I leave around. I have it in my wallet. I have it on my phone. I have it as something I see first thing in the morning. So I can see that and bring it into my experience.
Hmm.
And with that, thank you, Bronwyn. It has been a pleasure having you today. I can't believe how fast the hour has gone. And tell folks where they can find you.
Thank you also. I'm on Instagram, where I post every day, at Bliss and Me Meditation, on Twitter at Bliss and Me, only without the meditation. And that's BLISSINME. And then you can find me online at blissinme.com.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. And it's
Thank
been
you for having
super,
me.
of course, it's been super powerful to learn how we can build and grow our personal power, our personal strength, more of that I amness through affirmation. And if you start it, you'll never stop because you are. Have that strength, have that power, believe in yourself. As some folks say, you believed in Santa Claus for 8 or 9 years, believe in yourself for 5 minutes. And with that, thank you. We'll see you next week and take care. Bye bye.